IndyCar CEO Randy Bernard talking about the Green-White-Checker. And, when I was mentioning this, we were talking about his comment was that Indy doesn't need the circus sideshow of the Green-White-Checker. Obviously talking about NASCAR and how they handle the Green-White-Checkers when a yellow flag, so a race doesn't end in yellow. I don't agree. I think they need to do something. Now, I understand it is a little bit different. There is a very much bigger danger with the open-wheel cars on running that close, the double-file restarts. They also talked about at the Indianapolis 500 doing 3 wide starts. Because I got to tell you, the restarts at Indy were just horrific. I did not like them. They were so spread out. They were actually coming out of turn 3 and, just flooring it at that point where there wasn't even really a start on the front stretch, which I just found to be, a little bit, they got strung out, and that was it. They got away from each other, and it didn't make that much of an exciting race. It was a good race, don't get me wrong. I absolutely enjoyed the Indianapolis 500. It's just with the restarts and ending under yellow, I just don't like that as a race fan. What are your thoughts on that? We're taking calls on that, 877-996. But what I was getting at was the Conway crash at the end with Ryan Hunter-Reay. Man, he got up in the fence, and what a hell of a ride. Obviously, broken leg with Conway, and then Ryan Hunter-Reay is getting surgery on his thumb, his left thumb. But basically what that was from is when the wheels hit, it jerked the wheel and pulled his thumb. Very unfortunate for him. Also, the coverage that ABC had, a lot of people were writing ABC stands for always bad coverage. I get it. Sometimes they were a little Danica happy. There were so few passes for the lead that weren't shown because they were, dealing with Danica and granted, she ended up with a top 5. A great comeback there because I didn't think she was able to, she was kind of a non-story all race long. Alex Lloyd in the top 5 as well. They didn't cover that, unfortunately. There were some great things to talk about at the end of that race that they didn't get to. Not that everybody else's broadcasts are perfect. We have TNT coming on board this week, so we'll talk about that as well. But right now, the phone's 877-99 on Fox. Let's go to Jennifer. Jennifer, welcome to Race Day on Fox Sports Radio. What's up, girl?
Not much, Rob. You are doing a great job.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Now, I'm glad Junior qualified third. Hopefully, he'll do good in the race.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sometimes he qualifies up there and then he doesn't finish well.
Yeah, I hope he does because this is a guy that definitely needs the confidence build right now and the boost that he's getting out of this. And that is one thing he talks about. I got some video of that. I'm not sure if it's going to play correctly. Stand by and I'll try to play that here real quick because I do have a clip of Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking about the confidence he's getting from this nice qualifying run.
We've had a terrible month, and we left Charlotte and came down here, and I have qualified pretty good here in the past, and we had a good run today, but we ran our race trim stuff, and I still see where we're missing some things, and we need to gain a little bit tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get some time on the track, and the weather will stay away. But yeah, I mean,
this is a guy that obviously he wants to do well. He's tired of getting chewed up and spit out in the media, and he is the most popular guy. It's nice to see when I went on the media site and I saw, oh, look, there's video of and comments from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Must mean he's doing well. He gets to go in the media center. He gets to go and talk to the guys, and he misses that as much as as these drivers say, hey, man, this sport is so accessible that, the people get to us all the time. We don't really get the access to him as we used to, and he is the most popular driver. That's because he's not doing well. And now that we're starting to see some things, hopefully he does well in a race and this just isn't a qualifying thing.
Yeah, and I hope Jimmy and the Gainesco guys do well and at the 6 hours of
the Glen.
The Glen, yeah.
I do too, man. He loves just doing this sports car stuff, and I got to tell you, I love this race. This is going to be a great race at the Glen. 6 hours at the Glen kicks off at 2 p.m. I'll get you what to watch coming up here in a second, but that is going to be spectacular. You got the Continental Tire Series out there as well. You have the Mustang Challenge guys out there. A great weekend of racing for road racing fans. I think that's pretty much the real cool event. If I'm a commentator, I want that event. That's going to be an exciting weekend up there.
Yes, and now, if Jimmy has any more DNFs, that is not going to help him in the final 10. Yeah, he does well in the final 10, but if he has any more DNFs, you don't normally win a championship if you have too many DNFs.
That is correct. And this guy, if you look year to year, and I'm glad you brought this up, brings me to my next segment here. If you look year to year with Jimmie Johnson in points, last year he was third at this point. Right now he is seventh. Wins, he had 2 at this point. Right now he has 3, so he's looking good there. Top 5s, he had 6 last year, 5 this year. Top 10s, he had 9 last year, 7 this year. DNFs, he had 1 at this point, and he has 3 right now. Been a tough year, and the reason being DNFs, just getting caught up in the wrong place and the wrong time, and sometimes that has to do with qualifying and different events that took place out on the track. Some his fault, some his that were not his fault. So I can't blame the guy, but he's doing the best he can. If anybody in that garage can figure it out, it's Jimmie Johnson and Chad Knaus, one of the 2 smartest and greatest communicators in the garage area right now. And I got to tell you this, if he's expecting his first child in the next few weeks, he could have a backup driver, Eric Almirola. I got to tell you, if Eric gets that opportunity, that's big for him. That's a great opportunity to get in a great equipment like that. Hey, Jennifer, appreciate your call. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Let's look at that with Jimmie Johnson and looking at the DNFs he's had this season and where it kind of sits with all the other drivers. Marcos Ambrose has had 5 DNFs so far this year. Juan Pablo Montoya has 4. Jimmie Johnson has 3. Ryan Newman, 3. David Rudiman rounds out the top 5 with 3 DNFs as well. So some hard starts for some of these guys. Juan Pablo Montoya, definitely, he's done better than that. He's a better driver than that. He had a better year last year, but as a group is doing very well over there at Chip Ganassi Racing, or I should say Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, in the Cup Series. And we'll talk about that coming up in hour number 2, where we're talking about JGR, the Penske, the rising up. We'll talk about making the grade. Tom Jensen did a great story on speed.com. We'll get to that as well. Plus Danica. I thought her comments in the Indianapolis 500 after the race, talking to her guys, getting them back in the game, saying, hey, what I said about the car had nothing to do with you guys. I think that was a great step on her side, because I'm telling you, if I was her guys and she said those comments about me or about the car or not, and this thing's a piece of junk and I've worked my butt off on it, are you kidding me? I'm not going that extra mile for her. I don't care who you are. You don't give that kind of attitude. You don't expect your people to go out of the way. And I'm glad she sat down and said, hey, listen, I was just venting about the car, had nothing to do with you guys. I have all the confidence in you guys, and that's important, because if you want those people to work for you and do a good job, you got to treat them with respect. 877-99 on Fox. Let's go to, I think it's Rich. Rich, welcome to Race Day on Fox Sports Radio.
Good morning. Ryan Newman's my horse. He always seems to finish about 5 or 6, So he must be piling up points, right? Ryan Newman.
Well, he's in that top 12 now, but, he's looking like the guy that beat over at Stewart-Haas Racing. Unfortunately, and I have this on my list to talk about, Stewart's had some troubles, and I don't know if it's because of his new ownership role as the owner of that team, or part owner, I should say. But again, did we get used to last year where he came out of the box swinging in the first half instead of being the second half driver that he usually is, and that's more of his character, is coming out as a second half driver. So we are getting into that part of the year. Is he going to gain momentum again and get back in the swing of things as the old Tony Stewart would do? Or is this sponsorship deal with Old Spice leaving the car really hindering him in the back of his mind and hurting him out on the track? I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Well, Ryan Newman never seems to wreck, Somehow he stays out of all the wrecks. He won a big race to start the season. And I don't know if it was Daytona or what it was, but he never seems to wreck, and he just hangs in there and always finishes about 5 or 6. So he's got some endurance in him, and that Old Spice thing, man, you can imagine how they turn up the deodorant power in a race car,
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, Rich, appreciate the call. 877-99 on Fox. Yeah, it does stink. Right. If you're looking at a guy who needs a deodorant, it would be Tony Stewart, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. Hey, Rich, we appreciate it. 877-99 on Fox. More of your phone calls coming up next, and we'll do news and rumors right here on Race Day on Fox Sports Radio.